Welcome back to After Battle. I'm your host as always, Daniel Levi, and joining me now is the former LFA middleweight champion, Eryk Anders. And the reason I say former is because you just got the call. You're going to be fighting this weekend against Rafael Natal, UFC Long Island, your UFC debut. How's it going, man?
Man, it's going awesome, man. Feeling really good. Feeling really good. Weight cut's going awesome despite the short notice fight. So they're definitely looking to go in there and make some waves in this middleweight division.
Well, I appreciate you talking to me this close out to the fight. Now, last time we spoke, I told you, keep your phone on. You kept your phone on. Now you're in the UFC. What was it like when you got that call, man?
Man, it was cool, man. You know, they called me to fight one guy like a week after I fought. My hand was a little jacked up, so I couldn't do that fight. And then they called me like a week later or 2 weeks later and was like, hey, you want Rafael Natal? And I was like, man, yes, let's do that. Absolutely.
What do you think about the matchup? Because look, Rafael Natal, obviously he's a UFC vet. He's a black belt. He's been in there with everyone. I mean, he went the distance with the current champ, Robert Whittaker. Yeah. I mean, the dude's a stud.
Man, I like the matchup. He backs himself up, puts himself against the cage right where I want him anyway. So I'll be able to land shots, go for the takedown if I want it. His striking is not great. His jiu-jitsu is phenomenal, but he's going to have to get it to the ground first. So I really like the matchup. It really favors me, and I love to go out there and get a finish. To me, to be honest, it really doesn't matter who I fight, when I fight. I just really enjoy fighting. So the name is completely irrelevant. I'm just chomping at the bit to get in that octagon and show what I can do.
Now, you obviously feel like you have the proper amount of experience before, making your UFC debut.
Yeah, absolutely. My last fight went 5 rounds, so I know my cardio is tip-top. I fought less than a month ago. I live in the gym, so I never really get out of shape. Kept training, continued to train. So when I got the call, it was a no-brainer.
I see you've been putting in some work with my dude, Jared Gooden.
Yeah. He's come down to he came down like the last 2 weekends and trained with us over here at Spartan.
How was that, man? Kid's a beast.
Yeah. He's really big, really strong. I'm really kind of surprised that he fights at welterweight. He's almost the size of a middleweight. So strong speed, strong, fast, explosive. Really quick, awesome jits, good striking. So, it was really good to work with him.
You know what surprised me the most was that I found out the kid's only 23. I had no idea.
Yeah. I asked him that too. I was like, man, how old are you? He's like, I'm only 23. And I was like, dang, I remember when I was 23.
Yeah, exactly, man. I couldn't believe it when I found out his age. But yeah, no, I actually commentated his last fight. He went out there and got a finish. So,
Oh yeah, I actually came to that fight. I was there.
Oh shit, I didn't know that. That's what's up.
Yeah, man.
Obviously, you mentioned you're very excited, but, if it were up to you, how do you think it's going to go down?
Man, I think, in the later rounds, he's going to gas out, get tired, and I'll be able to get that, late round TKO, if not a KO in the earlier rounds.
Now, are you at all worried about, someone trying to take you down, trying to, set up that jiu-jitsu, trying to tap you out?
Man, I'm very confident in my ground game, as well as my takedown defense. Brendan Allen kind of snuck me with the takedown early in the first round of our fight, but I think Rafael's game is more dependent on the takedown, so I'll be ready for that for sure at all times.
Man, now real quick, because I was actually, I went on YouTube, I typed in your name because I wanted to see some of your football stuff. I saw you, that you caused a fumble. That was awesome. But then I look up your stats, and they only had, one stat on ESPN, the interception. They didn't even, account for that fumble that you caused. So where can I look up the kind of work you did on the football scene, man?
Man, I don't know, man. I don't think I'm quite popular enough to have popular enough to have a Wikipedia page or anything like that. But man, you could probably go on Alabama's website and maybe it's still up there. And maybe they get rid of the old stuff to make room for the newer guys. But I'm not really quite sure.
Maybe after this weekend you will have a Wikipedia page.
Yeah, hopefully.
So let me ask you this, man, because obviously you're in the middleweight division. The main event of the evening, you got Kelvin Gastelum taking on the former champion Chris Weidman. If you had to make a pick, who do you give the edge to in that one?
Probably Kevin Gastelum, man. He's on a streak right now. He's got crisp, solid striking. good wrestling. I think Weidman's kind of on the way out. But he's still number 5 in the world, former champ, so you can't never really count him out. Let's see, he got KO'd against Romero, and then I guess did they rule it a no contest or a loss against Musasi?
Oh, it's an L, man.
Yeah. Okay. Well, so he I think I hate to say a guy like that is on his way out, but that's just the nature of the business.
Oh, that's the cold, hard reality of the fight game. I mean, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Now, last time we spoke, I asked you, who do you think is going to be the middleweight champion? Is it going to be Robert Whittaker or Yoel Romero? You told me Robert Whittaker is going to go out there, win that belt. He did it, but oh my God, what a fight that was.
Yeah, it was an awesome fight. Perhaps maybe he would have finished Romero if his leg hadn't got, jacked up. Really took away some of his explosion and lateral movement and whatnot. But his takedown defense is on point, man. I don't think anybody's taking that guy down. If Romero can't take him down, good luck.
Yeah, straight up. There's nothing else to say about that. So now that you know who the champ is, I mean, look, I got a lot of respect for Bisping, but I am a betting man. I am picking Whittaker to win that fight. I count Whittaker as the champ. So when you think about, okay, this is the guy that's at the top of the mountain, I mean, how do you envision, a potential matchup between you guys down the line?
Yeah, hopefully. I think I go out there and, do what I'm supposed to do and do what I've been doing, finish fights, win fights in devastating fashion. I think the sky's the limit for me, and we'll see how far the hole goes. The rabbit hole goes.
Definitely, man. Now, real quick, I know I can look this up, but since you're with me, how old are you right now?
I'm 30 years old. I turned 30 in April.
Okay, so you're one of the younger middleweights on the roster, because I know one of the last times we spoke, you told me, look, there's young guys such as Whittaker, Jotko, Kelvin Gastelum, but the rest of them are kind of on their way out. So do you feel like next couple fights, I mean, you're going to be right up there in the mix?
Yeah, hopefully. I think Rafael is, like 23 or 26 in the division. So, after I knock him off, maybe a top 20, then after that, top 15, and then so on and so forth. So, hopefully, I get that opportunity.
Now, as a competitor, I mean, how much does this excite you, man?
Man, it's awesome. The UFC is the pinnacle of the sport. A lot of people down here, they think that the UFC is a sport, but I have to tell them that the UFC is like the NFL of MMA. So I'm definitely at the pinnacle. And, I look forward to, they messed around, let my foot in the door, so I plan on splintering it down and taking over the middleweight division.
Back when you were winning championships in college football, did you ever know that one day I'm going to make that UFC debut?
Man, I thought that I, would have a long, prestigious career in the NFL back at that time. But, after I got done, playing ball and started doing MMA, then, obviously I set my sights and my goals on the UFC, and then, to eventually have that belt around my waist. And I don't see what's the point in getting involved in a sport if you kind of want to half-ass it, or being the champion isn't your mindset.
Do you feel like you could be one of the guys that kind of starts that crossover? Because I know Dana White always spoke about how nowadays these kids that are coming up, they could have either played football, they could have either played basketball, but they chose to, I don't want to say play fighting, because it's not, you don't play inside the octagon, but they chose to be fighters, pro fighters. They could have done any other sport. You feel like you're going to be one of the first over to cause that crossover?
Man, absolutely. But to be honest, man, my kids, I think, are going to be the ones that are for sure going to make that crossover. They definitely have the athleticism, the wherewithal, the savvy. They're only 8 and 6, so should they choose to stick with it, there's not a doubt in my mind that those two could be future champions as well.
So I made a tweet saying that I was going to speak with Eryk Anders, and I asked the fans if they had any questions. And one of the questions I got was about the UFC jitters. Now, a lot of people like to talk about the octagon jitters, for that first time. But you're a guy, you've competed in Bellator, you've competed in LFA, obviously, the college football championship. Do you feel like the jitters will be an issue for you?
If I got the jitters, it would be the first time in my fight career that I've been nervous or got the jitters. So I'm pretty calm, cool, and collected. There's ice water running through these veins. I think I'm gonna go out there and handle business. And then maybe after the fact, when I'm sitting down eating pizza and burgers and whatnot, then it'll kind of hit me. But as of right now, it's business as usual, preparing for this fight, just like it was an LFA fight or that Bellator fight or on the local circuit.
I know we've talked about this in the past, but now that you are a UFC fighter, where does that competitive mindset go to, man?
It absolutely elevates. Now I'm fighting the best fighters in the world, the best athletes in the world. So, as they get better, I got to up my game as well.
Absolutely. Well, Eryk, thanks so much for a little bit of your time, man. I know the fight's this week. You're cutting weight. Really appreciate the time as always, man. If it were up to you, how would this fight with Rafael Natal go down at UFC Long Island?
I definitely think it's going to be a stoppage. If I don't knock him out early in the first round, then I think in that late second or third round, it'll be a TKO. I think he gasses out, drop him with the left, get on top, finish him off. And I truly think, and that's what I've envisioned and seen happening on Saturday night.
Awesome. Well, Eryk, I want to thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me right here, right now on Half the Battle. It's always a pleasure. I'm super excited for you, man. This is awesome. Making that UFC debut this Saturday. What channel is it on? FS1 or Fox?
It's on Fox. Fox.
Hell yeah. Well, everyone here in Atlanta, you can watch it on Channel 5 on Fox. Man, it's going to be an awesome fight. Eryk, thanks so much for the time, man.
I appreciate you, brother, always.
Yes, sir. And real quick, let them know where they can follow you, where the fans can reach you.
Yeah, all my social media outlets. Facebook is Eryk Anders MMA. Twitter, Instagram is ERYKANDERS @ Eryk Anders.